Oh, yeah.
Hi, Isaac.
Just give me a second because there's people joining the pictures jumping around. Okay, so now I got you.
Thank you.
Hi. Satyam.
Hi, Isaac.
Hi, Satyam.
I want to look at something with you, if it's possible. It didn't show up when this the stent was programmed attack happened. It wasn't the because I went to the retreat with Mujiji in 2015, and this insight happened, beautiful and opening, and then 2 years later this attack happened. So I was still in the honeymoon of the insight, where I was not going into the mind, and now after 5-6 years, this is really coming up so strong that I'm not able to accept that I had this attack. It's so difficult for me to live with it, that I have not a good body, and this story is so strong. So there's a feeling of it's a kind of a victim thing as well in it, but at the same time to think that I am not dying now at this moment, but to live with this thought of that this happened with me, and thoughts like what did I do wrong, or why, and all sorts of stuff.
She described it quite well. It's thinking, yeah.
Yeah, it is thinking. That's for sure.
Somehow your attention goes to that thought.
Yes.
Which is interesting, yeah.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't bring joy or peace or love. Just
No,
bring,
it's
and yet somehow the attention is attracted to that thought.
absolutely, it brings so much misery.
Yeah.
And yet I'm so it's almost like a trance. It's like a persistent hypnotic.
Mhm.
If when I look at the facts, the fact is I'm okay. The body is, I cycle every day and I'm not dying and I play music. But when I go into this and then it's totally gets my attention.
I understand.
It's like a cloud and it's a really a cloud which hovers around and then I'm so 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 I'm and I and it doesn't I don't want to be here.
Mhm. So, like on a physical level, if there's something really hot and you've burnt yourself once, usually you wouldn't burn yourself on purpose. Yeah, it's hot, and so it doesn't go there. But here, attention is going to a thought that causes trouble, and it does it every single time, which is curious. Yeah. So not to try and stop it, and just what does it get out of doing that? What's its function? Why just looking? Why does it do that? Somehow it does it. Yeah, we don't know. It just does it. But what's its? Yeah, so we're just looking. We're not trying to stop it or fix it or anything. We see clearly that when it goes there, it produces suffering.
Yeah.
And so then the question is, what is driving it? What's going on there that it keeps being attracted there? What's its function that it keeps going there? I'll tell you a story. A few years ago, a woman came to me and her granddaughter had died. And her sister, she went into grieving, so much so that she couldn't function anymore. She couldn't work, she couldn't do anything. And so she burned through all her savings and then lost her apartment, and then she was sleeping on people's couches, and it was getting to where nobody wanted to have her anymore because she was just grieving all the time. So in one of these meetings, she asked me if I could assist. And I asked her the same question as you. I said, somehow that must be really important to something in her that it kept doing that. So I asked her to see what was it? And when she looked, she said, oh, it helps me to feel connected to my granddaughter. So I said, wow, that's an important function. So the next question is, do you need that to feel connected to her? And she stopped for a moment and she said, no, actually not. And the grieving went away and never came back. So somehow your attention going to it has a function. It's serving it makes sense to something in your nerve, in your intelligence, like that. Clearly, you see it. It's only causes suffering, and so I don't think consciously you would do it anymore. But something gets value out of it and keeps doing it. So we're just looking. What is that?
I consciously I don't want it. I don't want to do
I
it.
understand that. I get it. Yeah. So now we're just looking. What's driving it? Yeah.
This just takes me to so much grief.
That part I all get, such. That we've covered already. Now we're looking to see what's driving it. Yeah, we're in an exploration. So
Okay.
if possible, stay with that exploration. maybe it reveals and maybe it doesn't. We're just looking, yeah.
Yeah.
Consciously, you would never do it. Unconsciously, it's getting it. It has a, you know, it has a function, you could say.
I'm not able to.
Yeah, so you know now you have a track you can play with. Yeah, just to as you notice the attention wanting to go there, not fighting it, honoring it. Okay, just getting gentle and what is. What's its function? What is?
It's like this attachment to the story of what has happened.
Yeah, so what would be the function of that? Why? What would be the value to something in you of being attached to that? What does it give you? What identity does it give? What?
Yeah.
What does it? What, you know? It's like it can be trying to make you realize how valuable every moment is, or I don't know what, but there's something in it. It's playing, you know, somehow we can see it's playing because it keeps troubling. And so we're just looking at what is its function that has some value. And gently we look, and it doesn't have to reveal this moment. It can reveal when it's time. We're just starting to ask the question, that's all. You know, when something's playing unconsciously, to try and control it with our conscious mind never works, because the unconscious is much more powerful. So we just now being available for that unconscious movement to reveal itself. Then it becomes interesting, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah. At least now I've put it out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you started inquiry, you know, it's like I have a friend in Melbourne who also holds meetings, and his wife of 50 years died. And, you know, I think a couple of days later, he was holding the meeting again. And one of the people that loved going to his meetings asked him, doesn't it bother you that your wife just died? And he stopped, only when I think about it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But here, I'm not. This
Somehow
thought,
your attention keeps going to that thought.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's not, I don't think it's conscious that you sit and think, let's see how much I can freak myself out now.
Yeah. Let me
Something is playing.
Let me become miserable by thinking this. It's not like that.
Yeah, it's not like that at all. Yeah. So we just waiting, you know, like being available, you could say, for that to show itself. And we just leave it like that. We've planted the seed, and now we just see what comes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sachin. Yeah.
Oh, that Darshana is where you went?
Ah, Darshana, I didn't see. Hi, Darshana.
Hello, Isaac.
Yeah, thanks for telling me.
I've been finding more quietness when I'm not in satsang. And I'm halfway through a master's and I just don't want to do it anymore. I don't want to be thinking and in my mind. But I also have had some big life changes and I don't know if my mind is using truth as a way to isolate and escape. I'm wondering if you could offer any clarity around the seeing of that.
You know, to me, it seems like whether we recognize it or not, all of us have priorities. And we can start to recognize what those priorities are by just seeing, what occupies our attention. Now, whether or not we choose our priorities, I don't think it's true. I think priorities come by themselves. A lot of them have been conditioned. Some of them are, like familial based or whatever. And so we have priorities. There's something in the whole intelligence of called Darshana found itself going for a master's. And then in the reality of the what it takes to get a master's, something is going, wait a second, actually this isn't a priority. It's somehow I got into it, and it's to me it seems it's totally okay to change course. I don't know how it is in your conditioning and upbringing. What kind of imprint did your family have on getting an education? And
Yeah, they were very supportive because it wasn't the tradition in our family. But I have had a pattern in the past of pivoting before completing things.
okay.
So I think fear that it's that pattern running again.
Okay.
And I'm
What are you getting a master's in?
counseling.
Counseling. Okay. So it's within your interest field, you could say, to assist people and
It is, yeah. And I recognize that the end game is it's a great way to be in service.
Yeah, and then the question is, do you need that degree to be present with people?
No.
Actually not. So yeah, for sure, in some ways it might be useful that they can get their sessions with you paid for by the government or whatever. So there are some practical reasons to have a degree, but you don't actually need the degree to do what you love. And in a way, waiting till you get your degree is postponement. I mean, it doesn't mean you can't complete your degree, because it does have some practical value, but it does mean that if you love to be present with people, that you can start offering, and then you'll see if people get value, then they'll tell their friends, and you know, your
Yeah. It's like I've actually started cleaning people's homes, and there's just this love of practicing being present and being in service and not being in my head. Yeah, there's this very much this feeling like I just want to be hands on and I don't know, just hear
Yeah, you
loving
see,
things.
I don't, you know, it's like practically, it doesn't matter whether you clean toilets or you clean houses or you're present with people. It doesn't, it's not so relevant. I mean, for sure, some things are better paid than others. And, you know, give you different opportunities, having more cash flow. But it's in terms of, you know, with whatever occupation that you do to earn enough to eat and have a place to stay, it doesn't matter. So if I ask you, because we're talking, you know, like, okay, there's a love of simply being peace.
More and more so, yeah. I think.
Yeah. So now that love of being peace, does that include welcoming any disturbance that comes?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's not related to a state or anything. It's just moment by moment recognizing that who you are is the space of all experience. And it is already like that. You don't have to do anything for it to be like that. Correct? Yeah. A lot of times people make the error of thinking that, you know, being peace looks a certain way. But that's an error, actually. It's the recognition that who you are, you've always been, and you are now. And in that, all experience arises. From the way you're speaking, it seems like there's a undercurrent of trying to get somewhere. And, you know, I've noticed that the people that have spent time with Vishrant all seem to carry that perspective. It's very much part of his teaching. And it's an error. And, you know, so in my view, anyway, I'm just saying it how I see it. It doesn't, so that, you know, here you are, and whatever's left of that seeking momentum, it's appearing in who you are. It's no need to believe in it. You can just see, okay, somewhere there's this an old mechanism playing that misses this moment by trying to match an ideal picture of something. I hope when I speak like this, so that I'm not making anybody wrong. I'm just saying what I've observed. Yeah, it's just, and you can it either resonates or it doesn't. It's okay. This is just what I see, and I see that, like some unconscious movement has some energy to it, is playing. And to me, it's tied to an idea you have of what being peaceful, what being you means, what being awareness means. So there's awareness here now, this moment, correct?
Yes.
Okay. You have to do anything for it to be here? No, it's just here. Now the sense of you, the feeling sense of you, like every night we go to deep sleep and that feeling sense of me or I disappears, yeah? It's gone.
Yeah.
And then some moment, consciousness returns. By consciousness, I mean our senses start receiving information, and we're aware of that information, and usually it's interpreted through our conditioning and our trauma, and we end up with a perception and a sense of me, all appearing in awareness. Now that sense of me that appears is so familiar, it's been with us most of our life, and it's so automatic. And if you really slow it down to see, it's like as consciousness, as we wake up in the morning or in the evening, whenever that happens, and it's like some thoughts start creeping in. Where am I? What's going on? How am I feeling? How am I doing? Am I enlightened yet? Or whatever the thoughts are. Yeah. Am I at ease? Am I at peace? Any of those thoughts. And that cycle of thought produces some sense of time and space and, located somewhere and someone and all that stuff. If those thoughts stop, even for an instant, then there's just space. But that cycle of thought is so familiar, it's just like we've grown up with it most of our lives, so it's very familiar. And then the tendency is to look through that feeling sense of I as if there's a me there. But we can see it's an activity, and if that activity doesn't have doership because there's nobody there actually. It's just a mirage based on that habit of thinking.
So anytime I get resistant about the studies I'm doing, I've gotten lost in an unconscious movement.
Yeah, so discomfort arises around this studying. And it's like, I don't think you wake up in the morning and think, oh, let me see if I trouble myself. It's not like that. Yeah, so somehow you're involved in the studying activity, and the thought comes, I don't know if I'm really, this is really my path, something like that. And then it generates a ripple, something in you then wants to try and know what's true, what's not true, and your thinking tries to help you.
Yeah, thank you. I think clarity that I
that-
was looking.
Yeah, so that thinking that tries to help you, it wants to help, but it's not comfortable and it doesn't, and it actually can't help you. Somehow it touches a layer of, you could say, doubt. Like doubting, just doubting. Yeah, you are. And say, here you are. Awareness is here. In this awareness, a character called Crystal or Darshana arises. So this character, how would you describe her? What are her qualities?
I think she's pretty brave.
Okay. Yeah.
She wants to find love and truth.
And where is she going to find that?
Just now.
Because the only moment you can have that is now, yeah? So somehow there's this idea that she doesn't have love and truth. Otherwise, you wouldn't be, it's like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
So
there's still that.
Where did that idea come from?
When I'm identified as the mind, I guess. And it's like,
And so what does identification mean? Let's just take a moment for that. And to me, how I see identification is that there's an automatic unconscious habit that plays that produces a sense of identification. But then who did it? Because it was automatic and unconscious. So nobody did it, but it shows up as a sense of Darshana or Crystal, yeah?
yeah, nobody did it.
Nobody did it. So you can't say I identify. Identification happened. So this character, Crystal, is that who you are? Or are you something beyond that or deeper than that?
Well, I sense something deeper now.
Yeah.
But
This is the primary, the deepest question is, who are you? And that question is not a question for your mind. It's a recognition, yeah? Like right in this moment, yeah. Who are you? Speaking from the depths of your own knowing, right here, right now. Already. Not becoming, not getting there. Now. Who are you?
it's something thin and delicate, like a
Whatever that is, through the senses, the entire universe appears in it. Time, space, matter, energy, everything appears in that you are already. Isn't it?
I'm not sure.
This not sureness, where does it appear in?
Mind.
In mind, which appears in awareness, yeah?
My experience still feels very local. So when you say the universe,
Okay, so let's look at that then. So in this moment, all that anyone has is the experience of now. That experience, where does it begin and end? In this moment. Does it have a beginning or end? No, it's ever changing. Can we ever describe it even? If it's changing every instant, how fast would you have to speak to try and describe it?
it's not changing.
Sensations of the moment are always changing. Yeah? The awareness is it's untouched.
How do I know I'm really sensing the awareness and it's not just like,
Okay, so that question now. Is doubt, yeah? It's an expression of doubt. Isn't it?
yes,
Okay. So that doubt arises in awareness. And we can follow the doubt and feel doubtful. Or we can see doubt comes and goes in awareness. Awareness remains, yeah? Isn't it? And what is doubt's function? Doubt is trying to make sure. Now, can doubt ever make sure? If you doubt hard enough and long enough and intensely enough, will that ever bring certainty or sureness? It only brings more doubt, yeah? So it's trying to help. Good intention just doesn't work.
so I'm feeling expanded.
Yeah, so what's beyond doubt? What's aware of doubt?
There's something here.
Yes, whatever it is, we can't say, yeah?
It's like, I guess the doubt is still there. It's like, the awareness, like I don't feel like the grasp or the grounding in it. Like something's getting stronger now.
Mhm.
Almost feel like being pulled backwards.
Yeah, yeah.
But what is that?
Yeah, I would say it's like an appearance in awareness. You know, if you look at Ramana Maharishi's invitation, it's a very simple one. Whatever appears, if you ask who's aware of it, there can only be one answer, yes? I am. Isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. There is no other possibility to that question. Who's aware of it? I am. And then, who am I? And that who am I it's not a mental question, it's just bringing the attention back to awareness itself. So that's a sense of moving backwards, because in most of us, the habit has been to be focused on the content of awareness and kind of completely overlook that there's awareness there. So we get involved in doubt or sensations or emotions or whatever it is, with the idea that it's going to help us if we to recognize that awareness is always here. But it's you can see it's not true, because awareness is here. It never went anywhere. Except we can't say what it is. We can't measure it by anything, certainly not by our experience or by the mind or anything like that. It's a knowing, yeah? There's awareness here. And that sense of I that wants to establish itself in it, or it's just more.
This is what's happening.
Yeah.
I don't feel like established, like I'm living as it.
Yeah. So
And-
now look at that thought. I don't feel I'm established. That's appearing in awareness. Who's aware of it? I am.
Yes.
Yeah. That awareness is aware of that thought. That's all. That feeling. That evaluation by the thought, by your thinking.
What would be the difference then if I was actually awake than what's happening right now?
Who is it that would be awake? Is awareness concerned with being awake?
No.
Doesn't have that. Is awareness concerned with being free? Those are just constructs. Our thinking might be habituated to being busy with that stuff, but it has nothing to do with who we are. Who we are has nothing to do with getting anywhere. You know, I was once interviewed by a magazine, a big newspaper in Europe, and one of the questions they asked me was, when did you wake up? That's such a strange question, because that which is awake has always been awake. The sense of I can never wake up.
So I do compare that with Vishrant's teaching, who says that at some point the I surrenders or it dies in service of truth.
A whole bunch of concepts that sound good on the surface, but if you look at it, they torture. And a good way of making money endlessly, because people will never arrive. They'll always have to come to him for teaching. Sorry to say it so bluntly, but it's. I've spoken directly to Vishrant about it. He doesn't seem to care.
But so at some point, did that happen for you? At some point?
It's a good question. So which me would that have happened for?
So your mind,
Even to say my mind. Mind is thought, yeah? No thought, no mind. So who owns those thoughts? So Sahaja Samadhi, the highest natural state, isn't a thought-free state. Thoughts can come. It's not a problem.
So the difference is you see them and you know,
Or I wouldn't even say I see them. They are seen. What is it that sees?
the awareness.
So that's the eye that sees.
And your experience though now is the process of identification does no longer happen.
I can't say that at all. Identification could happen. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't matter.
But as awareness, you would see that.
Awareness, of course, notices. But it's nothing that I do. It has nothing to do with me. It's just awareness, yeah. Whatever's left of old habits, they come and maybe play, but they say, and they get seen, inquired into automatically without any effort, without any doing whatsoever.
How do they get inquired in?
So there's this moment, right?
Yes.
And this moment is as God as it gets. It doesn't get more God than this, yeah?
No,
This is it. This is it. Okay.
this is it.
Yeah. And so, what is it that makes this moment enjoyable or suffering?
The way that it's perceived by the mind.
Yeah. Old habits, old information, yeah?
Yes.
Who's doing that?
Nobody.
Nobody. Yeah, it just happens automatically and consciously. So, as any of those old habits are noticed, they cease to be unconscious. That's the inquiry. And noticing, oh, wow, that's doubt. Doubt came up. Okay. In one way would be to say, oh, I'm doubting, and how do I solve this doubt and all this? Well, you just know doubt is coming up. It's trying to help, but it doesn't. Doubt away, no problem. What can it do to awareness? Nothing. No need to follow it, no need to stop it, no need to, just to see it, yeah. The I trying to get rid of the I thought. I mean, how crazy is that?
What do you mean?
This whole idea that at some point the I thought will drop away.
So you might still have a thought like, I'm hungry.
Yeah. Or yeah, there's hunger here now. Well, there isn't hunger here. Or I feel like a chocolate, or who knows?
So your experience in this moment, as opposed to maybe 40 or 50 years ago when you have a thought, I want a chocolate, is it's seen in a way that doesn't feel like it's who you are.
Yeah, exactly. It's just a movement. It's just a thought. And can you see in that question, hidden in that question was an idea that You have to be a certain way that you perceive me to be.
Say that again.
Hidden in that question of asking me about my experience
Yeah.
is trying to get a mental idea of how you should be.
Yeah.
A bit tricky there, Crystal. It's
Mm.
sweet, wants to help, yeah. And yet here you are. Thoughts come and go, feelings come and go, ideas come and go, positions come and go, rationalizations happen. What does that mean about you?
Nothing.
Absolutely not a damn thing.
I'm just aware I've taken a lot of time. So thank you.
You know, I mean, that's a common idea too. I've taken a lot of time. To me, you know, this is an inquiry. We can ask afterwards if anyone benefited from it. At the moment, you know, like consciousness, this intelligence, this great intelligence is using this expression of itself to inquire into something.
Thank you.
So if you like, go to gallery view for a moment.
Say that again.
You have the capacity to see everybody in your screen at once?
Oh, yes. Oh, my, or sort of.
Yeah. And then we can just ask the question, did anyone get any value out of that inquiry? So you're just a voice for consciousness. So that, in my view, so what's the story about taking a lot of time? You know, it's just
Thank you, everyone, too.
Yeah. Cool. Russia.
Oh, yes.
All right.
Mm. Mm. Oh,
Any words of wisdom?
love,
No.
love. Thank you. Mm.
Wunderbar.
Hi.
Hey, wunderbar.
I just had the impulse because it makes me so happy to be here and to listen to you and to this clarity, and the last two inquiries, the long ones with Darshana and Satyam were so on the point. So wow. And I'm so grateful and so happy, and and I had a feeling I just wanted to say that, but not. I fear if I'm staying too long, then again my
Let it, let it, let it, let it, let it, let it.
let it burn, huh?
Let it burn. You know, what can it do? Thoughts come and go. They, you know, it's like when we rest together, the chances of believing in a thought are much less than when we just in our usual habits, you know, in our usual circumstances.
Yeah. But it's not so much that a thought arises. Yeah, maybe it's a resistance against the sensation that something intensifies. Yeah, when I sit
Yeah.
with you, and then
Definitely.
there comes the intensity, and then something freaks out.
Okay. Well, that's what the moment it starts to freak out, tell me, okay? Let's watch. No, we just we here resting, we're not no agenda, just if freaking out comes, you can just raise a finger or something. Just,
I have to make it a little bit louder.
okay.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, now something searches or scans me for as the freaking out. Yeah, I mean that's stupid too. Now
Yeah.
I'm busy with that.
Yeah.
That's
For a moment. Yeah, for a moment. How much love is there allowed to be? You know? Just resting.
What's more?
How much love is there allowed to be just resting in the moment? Where's the limit to how
Yeah, that's a
much?
problem. That's a problem.
Another bad problem, perhaps.
I have to talk, then it's more easy. It's really I love this inquiry, how you do it, how you lead the people into the inquiry, and I have then I'm out, you know. I'm just watching it.
There's a resonance, you see.
Yeah,
You know? Yeah,
yeah.
it's like
Then
there's a
I
signal.
can enjoy it very much, and when I'm here myself, then another aspect comes in. You know what I mean?
So
It's
some habit of being self-conscious
yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
based on that there's a certain way to be, that there's some you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And where did you learn there was a certain way to be?
Oh, very young, from the
Yeah.
beginning, I think.
Yeah.
From the very beginning, I can remember it. It was
Yeah.
that was the
And then
expectation.
Yeah, and then just see in this moment, is that a tradition you want to carry on? Or
No,
is
of
it okay
course
to
not.
say, is it okay to say, yeah, yeah, done
Yeah.
it enough times to know what it is?
Yeah.
Just
Yeah, it's yes,
not
you're right,
necessary.
but it's like the momentum is, I mean, it's still, you know what I mean? It's still,
Well, so now we've identified it. We've seen that pattern. That was conditioned very young.
mm,
And it's trying to help in some way, but we've already seen that it doesn't.
no.
Great, you see it. That's all. And see if it comes again. That's all. No big deal. Maybe it opens up a deeper capacity to enjoy this moment. Hanging out and just feeling the flow. And okay, to just enjoy and be present. Nothing has to happen. Don't have to get anywhere. You can just enjoy. Okay? Yeah. Simple, huh?
There's so much beating up myself. I see it.
Yeah, good. So you see it. You see that habit. Honor it. But beating your so-called you beating yourself up is just a habit. Nobody does it. Nobody would do it. Somewhere there was an instruction in your family or your schooling or somewhere. You watched that habit very carefully and something took it on. Also, you know, at the basis of that is a certain way to be. And that beating up helps you be that way. It's so funny. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Well,
yeah. It's also like a little bit like yeah, it's true. I can see it. This Zwang, this that I have to be a certain way. So this pattern, but okay, I see it, and then there's like, yeah, but one then, yeah,
you see,
there are moments, and it's simple, but then, oh, it's, oh, yeah, it's thoughts. It's not, it's habits and thoughts.
based on the past and projecting into the future. Yeah?
Yes, yes.
And there's only this moment. Is it enjoyable at all hanging out? Can you find any enjoyment in it?
Yes, of course. But it's
Oh,
like
good.
when I'm not in front,
So,
it's
so no, no,
more.
so then just enjoy it for a moment or two. And just exploring of how much is it okay to enjoy. For a moment, you can take a holiday, you don't have to do anything, you don't have to figure anything out. You can just be and enjoy. Like a holy day, a holiday. And maybe if it's enjoyable enough, you just okay and spend the rest of my life on holiday.
To allow that is not so easy.
Oh, You think it's easier to avoid that?
Yeah, I mean the habit is to
The habit is
have,
to avoid it, but
and the habit is
certainly
easy
not.
because
The habit, we could say it's easy, but there's a big price for it.
yes, Yeah.
So I wouldn't say it's easier. I could say it's a lot less comfortable. That's all. And it's based on this idea that it's somehow it's useful or valuable to be hard on yourself, but not allow yourself, not interested in really enjoying this moment.
I am interested.
Hmm.
It's a fight between the habits and the interest.
There's no fight.
It feels like a fight. No fight?
No fight. Who's fighting? How do you sense the capacity in this system to enjoy?
In your system or
Yeah,
in my system?
in
In
my
your
system.
system. Oh,
Yeah.
very, very big. Yeah.
And whatever the system has learned that it can enjoy that much, your system can download. You're welcome.
Yeah, that's why I enjoy you so much.
Yeah.
Because
And
it's
then just consciously to let it in, but it's okay.
consciously
So
what?
well, to
So
let it in, to recognize
Yeah.
that we're not different, actually. I mean, there's been a lot of exploring here, but fundamentally we're not different. And your system can easily enjoy. There's some old information, but you just see that somehow here a lot of that old information has been looked at, explored, and the capacity to enjoy is pretty, I'd say I feel very blessed with this.
you feel blessed with your system.
Yeah, that there's a deep capacity to enjoy one another.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem to believe that anything needs to be any particular way to enjoy.
Yeah.
You can enjoy it like it is, like hanging out here. It's like, doesn't matter if thoughts come, won't come, contractions come or don't. None of it matters. It's not important.
Yeah, I see that the enjoyment and when I was a kid, or that not my in my in when I was a child, in general, it's in our society so much stopped. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
children are stopped to enjoy, really
enjoy,
yeah.
Programmed, you could say, conditions.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, and that produces the habits and the beating up and this and that.
And not necessary to keep going with that. I mean, it's just wow.
Mm.
It's truly okay to receive this moment as the beloved.
And also, I don't have to do anything for it.
No, it's just like
This is receiving and not a doing. Yeah.
exactly, yeah. Receiving is not doing it all. It's just like it's already here. This moment is as God's gets. This moment, yeah, it's an expression of this great intelligence. Wow.
Isaac, you're such a gift, really. Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Yeah, sweetheart.
I have only one
Thank you.
hand free because my other holds the iPad.
No problem. I have two hands. Yeah. And then Daphne.
Hello.
Dog. Okay, so we've got three. Okay. Hey, yeah.
Hello.
Hello,
Hello.
hello.
Oh,
You're looking all bright and sparkly.
that's your precious inquiry with Dashana. Ah, just want to drink this exquisite moments.
Yeah. Just that saying of Nisargadatta comes in mind. When I know I'm nothing, that's wisdom. When I know that I'm everything, that there is only these sensations of now, and they're not separate to awareness. That's love. And between those, my life flows. Yeah. Unconditional loving and nothing.
I've been playing with the lovely little gift you gave us long ago about when you're looking at someone being the not doing the looking but receiving the looking.
Receiving
And
the
it's
light, yeah.
yeah, it's a lovely little technique.
Yeah. I mean, it's just recognizing that's how it is. Actually, the light comes in and seeing happens. We don't have to do anything for it, but we've gotten into this habit of, through the use of language, of thinking that it's coming from outside, that it's where experience is happening. Is you can't say inside or outside, it's just here.
Yeah, and the gift today is just seeing the with a sweet humor, the lengths the idea of oneself will go to defend the habit, especially here, seeing that there's this, the one that first I saw hugely here in the system was the not ridiculous, but ridiculous idea of being responsible for the suffering of not only me and the ancestral lineage, but the world. I mean, really, a glimpse of that was just so funny, but also precious, seeing seeing how hard it tries here and in everyone I see. But right now, this overflowing joy, love, and gratitude.
quite simple. Isn't it?
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Daphne. There you are. Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
I have to move somewhere
No problem.
so that I can see your eyes and my eyes. Like this?
Yeah, the more closer you are when you look at yourself on the screen to being in the center,
Mm-hmm.
towards the top of the screen, the more it'll look like our eyes are looking right into each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, perfect. You're right in the center of the screen. I look at myself, I can sit up a bit more.
It just feels like an overflow or overwhelming a little bit.
Love, loving love, yeah.
Mm. Mm. It's a few years, every 2 weeks I have like for around 10 days very strong pain in the body, and it's beautiful this time. It comes along with uh, it's just such a deep invitation to be quiet, or
Mhm.
what, like everything else falls away.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it's like I can allow myself to just really relax and Mm. Sometimes it's already with when there is pain, but sometimes when it's very strong, then it's more after that.
Mm.
You know, when the pain falls away, then It's because usually there's a habit here, even if it's only subtle, and it's very perseverant, this habit of I should something, I should do something, you know, use the day in a, how do you say that in English?
Benutzt die Tag.
Say again?
Benutzt die Tag für.
Ja, den Tag sinnvoll nutzen.
Okay.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Meaningful.
Meaningful. Yeah.
What?
Meaningful.
Meaningful. Yeah, to do something with the day which is meaningful or which makes sense or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that really keeps me from
so
relaxing.
that filter, yeah, that's
Yeah.
a filter.
Yeah.
And just to notice there's a filter. And just somewhere like that filter was programmed. Maybe just does it come more from your father, from your mother?
Mhm.
Okay, yeah. So,
Yeah.
Just
It's
Yes,
funny because my father, I mean, I'm aware of it since many years now, and it got much less.
less, yeah.
It's-
So that's the thing with some of these
Yeah.
patterns. I was just seeing them again and again and
Yeah.
again, all the time fresh. And
Yeah. That's just, I'm just amazed how long it takes and how it still plays. And when my father told me once, I didn't ask him, he just out of the blue, he said, you know what? I noticed every day I wake up with this thought, I have to make meaning of my day or something.
Mhm,
And he didn't even tell me,
mhm.
but and still passed it
Yeah.
on to
Just
me.
passed it on, yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. I love the joke where the wife asks the husband, what's she going to do today? And he says, nothing. And she said, but that's what you did yesterday. And he says, yes, but I wasn't finished yet.
Yeah, I know this. Or you told that before.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm. Mm.
Imagine a tree having this idea it has to do something meaningful.
Yeah.
Then it would need a tree psychiatrist. And
It's so absurd.
yeah.
Yeah, all the expectation that, or how I treat myself. And I saw lately that I see this perfection and this beauty in everything. You know, in the tree, in the water, in the plants, in the
Everything. Yeah.
human beings, in the animal, but I don't really see it so much in this. It's that the habit is not that I can't really. It's just only sometimes, or if I'm quiet, of course, then I'm just part of the beauty.
Yeah.
Mm.
Next step. Dog. Where's the dog? Can you wave your hand, dog? So I can. There you go. Cool.
Yeah. Hi.
Did I say your name correctly? Dog?
Yeah.
Or dad? Dog.
Dog. It's Swedish.
Swedish.
Means day.
Day. Okay. Yeah. Dag. Dag in Dutch or Afrikaans. Dog, I guess. Swedish.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know where to begin.
Start in the middle.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I'm really connecting to what's been lifted and shared before previously.
Yeah.
What I think I want to talk to you is, at least because I've been recently, for the past 6 or 8 months or something, I've been having big issues with making decisions and committing.
Oh,
And I've been really like torn apart.
so did you decide for it to be like that?
No,
No, that just happened. Yeah?
yeah, it happened. And I'm in it with awareness. I try to laugh at it, but it's
No,
also,
so look, the difficulty with this whole decision story is like we think that it's me that decides.
yeah. Yeah.
But look and say, yeah, and just check that out and see if I mean, it's interesting because scientists have been interested in this question, and they
Yeah.
with the machines they've got, they can monitor your brain, and they see the decision actually happens like
Yeah.
before, and then we become aware of it, and then we say, "Oh, I made it." We don't. It's not us that does it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I hear you, and I'm aware of this too.
Yeah.
But
So then this question where on top of that, like there's this difficulty with making a decision. Part of that has to do with this idea of making the right decision.
sure, definitely.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of fear of making the wrong decision.
Exactly. And so, how can we know if a decision's the right decision or the wrong decision? The decision happens.
The decision happens, and I mean, if it
Yeah,
leads,
and then 5 minutes
joy,
after,
I would say it's the right decision, and if it leads to bitterness and pain and misery, I would say it's the wrong decision. But it's
Yeah,
hard to
so
know
this-
that beforehand.
so the thing is, it's like decision happens,
Yeah,
and what is it that makes it us think it's the right or the wrong decision? Based on what? How can we possibly know if it was the right or wrong decision?
that's the thing. You can't possibly know.
You can't possibly know.
You can't. So, but
So once you recognize that,
yeah,
then a decision happens. Great. Okay.
yeah, okay. But
This
then
idea,
it's like,
the idea of a wrong decision is just a way of tormenting ourselves that was put on our head somehow. You have to make the right decision.
sure,
But there's no way of knowing.
sure, I hear you, and I hear you. But then it's like
Yeah.
it's, I don't know, a lot of conditioning playing itself out.
Yeah, that's all. That's
That's
all.
all. But
So now you see there's somewhere there's been a condition
yeah,
to make the right decision.
yeah,
But without ever exploring, is it even possible to know how what a good decision is? We don't know.
no. But then I mean, that is what's happening. But it's the consequences of that. It's I mean, it's on a day-to-day basis. It's been difficult to
So
live.
what happens then is you drop into free fall because you don't fucking have any way of measuring anymore. What if you don't have a way of measuring? And you recognize this whole idea of measuring everything was just nonsense.
Yeah.
Then you're in free fall, yeah?
Yeah.
And free fall, is funny because there was a cartoon years ago I saw of a guy falling and into a bottomless pit. And at first he's freaked out because he's falling, but then he realizes it's bottomless pit. He's going to be falling forever. And then he kind of relaxes and he's just falling. And it's not a problem anymore.
You know what you said before? It really awoke something in me when you said take a holiday. You didn't say to me.
Yeah.
That's
It's like, yeah. So, like at the moment, there's this phase where this old conditioning of making the right decision is playing, and you just watch it. Wow. And we explored and you could see. I can't possibly know what the best decision or the right decision is. It's not knowable.
No.
Yeah. So then you can relax. Decisions happen or they don't happen.
Yeah.
Move. Yeah. The decision happens and you change your mind, or it changes its mind. It's like, how often do we start the day? I'm going to do this, and then end up something completely different happening.
Almost ever.
Yeah, so it is like that.
Yeah.
John Lennon, he said it so lovely. He said, life is what happens while you're busy making other plans. Well, we can take a holiday and relax. It's okay.
Yeah. It's so easy to just.
And then just watching, then starting to recognize this kind of.
Right, and having to get everything in order and having to be on top of it and having to.
Oh man, that's a good one. Being on top of it.
Yeah.
Where did we learn that? What does it even mean?
I don't know, but the thing is, what I'm seeing is that, like, my body on a physical level likes being on top, because in this not making decision where everything is just chaotic, like my nervous system is freaking out. I can't sleep.
Yeah.
It's such stress. But when I got things in order, it's like, okay, my body relaxes and then can take a step back.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an
that's
idea,
the way
but it's also very connected to my actual physical body and to how it operates and how it feels. And because it doesn't matter if, like, like a part of me knows that, like, okay, being on top, it doesn't matter. Having control is just a thought. But my body believes it, and that changes everything.
And so then you go deeper and explore and see, well, that belief, where was it learned?
Yeah.
A 1-year-old wouldn't have that. I don't know if a 2-year-old, where did we learn that shit?
Yeah.
Somehow, And believe me, I know that pattern of, there's a saying, I don't know if you have it in Sweden, keeping your ducks in a row.
No, I don't. But it means
But
everything.
if you've ever tried to keep ducks in a row, you see it's almost impossible.
Yeah.
So that's a filter, that somehow was put on our heads. Keep on top of it, whatever that means. And it's stressful. And it's like there's nothing objective that you can tie it to. It's just like
stressful to have that thought, but it's also stressful to not be on top of it.
Well, if that thought's playing underneath, then it would feel stressful if it's believed in,
Mm-hmm.
I used to live on Maui for many years. And Maui was a very popular holiday destination.
Right.
People would come there and spend thousands of dollars on hotel accommodation and stuff. And they had to have courses at the hotel to tell people how to take a holiday. Because people would come there and they would immediately have all this pressure of what they had to do on their holiday.
Yeah.
Like, well, they didn't know how to just chill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Yeah. So they had courses at the hotels that teach people how to take a holiday.
Yeah.
Just to stop, even for 1 millisecond. See what happens if you stop for a microsecond, just 1/100th of a second. Tell me what's there in that moment of stopping.
I mean, right now I can't stop. But when you said take a holiday before, I feel like I saw a glimpse of it. Peace.
Yeah.
Just peace.
Yeah. So, in between every breath, there's a moment where the breath turns. When you take a breath, it goes from in to out. There's a moment that it just stops. See if you can find that moment when the breath turns.
Well, there's nothing.
And there's nothing. No problem.
Nothing.
Nothing. So the deepest question, who are you? Not answering it from your mind or anything you've read or anything, just from this instant, yeah, now. Speak from that nothing.
How do you put words on it?
Say again?
How do you put words on it even?
No, not possible. But anyway, just it's the fact of coming to that recognition, you can't put words to it.
Thank you.
No. Cool. Satyam.
Hi, Isaac.
Right.
Really have no words for this, what you're radiating, and it's so precious. Just saying the word's precious, but
Yeah.
this is not even precious. This is why I am. about the attention going to this issue of the heart. There's a strange intention behind that, and I don't even know how is that possible to even have that intention. I think it's there's a strange purpose, that it's keeping me, that stress is keeping me alive.
Wow, beautiful, Satyam. So now you can check. Is that true?
No.
Yeah.
I have so much gratitude for you, Isaac.
So beautiful, man.
It's really was strange that by worrying and by having that story in my hand, that it's keeping me alive, basically.
Yeah, and of course, if that's believed in, then it's very important. It's like your system; it must do it because otherwise you're going to die. But then you look at it and go, "Man, what a lot of nonsense!" It's just not true.
And it might show up again, but now somehow it's looked.
Yeah.
It's looked into.
See,
at least
it might never show up again. That's the other part of it. I'll tell you.
Absolutely.
There's been a number of times when people have come with something that's been troubling them forever, and it just drops. It's gone, never comes back.
These two examples which you gave have stayed with me for many years. One was the grief one, with granddaughter, which I remembered, and the other one was about this woman having fear of dying, and then you said, is it death or is the idea of dying? And then suddenly she starts to laugh.
Yeah,
that was ringing some bell. It has stayed in my system somehow. I remember it, and knew that I will be walking the same path a little bit like that. So that's why these patterns are probably not very personal.
Not at all. They're not. And it's always interesting, like the habit, I guess, in most of us is when we see something like that happening is to try to control it with will. And it's not possible. If underneath there's the idea that is keeping you alive, and you try to stop it by will, it's like your unconscious goes, no, I'll die. But then you look and see, no, it's not true. It's just an idea. Somehow the wiring got crossed, It's like,
Thank you, Isaac.
yeah.
Thank you.
Judith. Hey, Judith.
Hi. Thank you, Daphne, for bringing what I haven't seen yet. But the day had to be meaningful. I recognized somehow that pattern, and it was not yet conscious.
So many, like orientations that have crept in that just never get explored.
Amazing.
And
Amazing. Or something like a holiday, you need to have earned that or something. Also, some,
yeah. And this somehow not recognizing it, keeping quiet. It's just that meeting the moment as the beloved is probably one of the most profound gifts.
The most satisfying, the most profound depth and connection with life.
With everything.
Ever.
Yeah.
There's nothing more profound.
Indeed. love, peace, beauty.
Mm.
Thanks,
What do we want more, huh? This is it.
So
Mm.
simple.
Thank you, Isa.
Bettina, thank you for hosting. Thank you, beloveds, for showing up and playing, exploring. Good night.